Dear students, let us start part 2 of chapter 4, metals and non-metals. Earlier part we have studied about the physical properties. In this part we will study about the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. All the metals and non-metals react differently towards different reaction, and it all depends on the reactivity of the metals or non-metals. In this chapter we will study about some of the chemical properties, which are as follows: the reaction with oxygen, the reaction with water, the reaction with acids, the reaction with bases, and displacement reaction. Metals react with oxygen to form metal oxides. When we dissolve these oxides in water, it will make a solution which is basic in nature. Because it is basic in nature, when we use a red litmus paper, it will turn to blue. Now here the exception are there: aluminium and zinc, they form amphoteric oxide. Amphoteric oxide means the oxides which show the property of both acid and bases. Here are some reactions. Copper react with water, carbon dioxide and oxygen to give copper hydroxide. This is basic in nature. Then magnesium react with oxygen to give magnesium oxide, which is also basic in nature. We can do an experiment to see whether the oxides that are formed from metal are acidic or basic in nature. We will take some rust and dissolve it in water, and then we can use a red litmus paper to see if it turns to blue. Yes, it turns. That means that the oxide of iron is basic in nature. When we come to non-metals, they react with oxygen to form oxides. The oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature, so they will convert the blue litmus to red. Example is sulfur. Sulfur will produce sulfur dioxide, which react with water to form sulfuric acid. You know, sulfuric acid is an acid. So all the non-metals will form acidic oxides. We will take sulfur in a defragmenting spoon, and this defragmenting spoon, we will put some sulfur and put it into a glass jar. Inside the glass jar there will be oxygen which will react with the sulfur, and a gas is produced. We will cover the glass jar with a lid, and after some time we will put some water in that. The gas that is formed, white gas that is formed, will be dissolved in the water. Then we will take it on a petri dish and we will put a blue litmus paper. It will turn to red. This shows that sulfur oxide is acidic in nature. Phosphorus is highly reactive and it catches fire when exposed to air, so it is kept under water. As you all know that sodium is highly reactive metal. It is so reactive that it vigorously reacts with oxygen. So we have to keep it inside the kerosene. We can take a small piece of the sodium and wrap in cotton and then put it in beaker and observe. We have to keep away from the beaker. We can see that after some time it will light. It will become hot and it will light up. If we put some water in it, then a solution is formed and it will turn the red litmus to blue. That means the sodium forms basic oxide. Sodium is a metal. It will form basic oxide. Different metals or non-metals react differently with the other elements, and it depends on how reactive it is. Some are very reactive and some are less reactive. According to the reactivity, we arrange them in a reactivity series. Here is the reactivity series. Potassium is most reactive and gold is least reactive, all this metal. Now we can learn this reactivity series with this phrase: please stop calling me a careless zebra, instead try learning how copper saves gold. This we have discussed in the class. So reactive metal is potassium, then sodium. Calcium is less reactive than sodium. Magnesium is less reactive than calcium. then aluminium, then carbon, then zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver and gold. Here is another reactivity series which is showing some metals also, and the reactivity series of non-metals also. So you can just by heart it. Fluorine is very reactive among the non-metals, and phosphorus is least reactive among the non-metals. Dear students, I have told you that there are free electrons in the metals. How easily that electron can be taken by other atom to react, the reactivity of the metal depends on that only. If the electron is very easily accepted by other, reacts with other metals, then the metal will be more reactive. In case of non-metals also, the electrons are the one which take part in the chemical reaction. So the reactivity of the metal and non-metal depends on the electron present in the metals or non-metal atoms. This is a table which will help you to remember which metals react with which things, like sodium, potassium, lithium and calcium readily react with water. Then potassium, sodium, lithium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, tin and lead, they react with acids. Copper, mercury, silver and the above metals, they react with oxygen. Gold is non-reactive, very unreactive, inert type of metal, so it will not react with any of this. So now we will do an experiment to understand the displacement reaction. For this we are taking 5 beakers. In the 5 beakers we will take different chemical solutions. In the first 2 beakers we will take copper sulfate solution. In the 2 beakers we will take zinc sulfate solution. In 1 beaker we will take iron sulfate solution. We will put different metals in this solution and see if the metals that we are putting in the solution can displace the metals that are present inside the solution, that are part of the solution, it can be displaced or not. The metals that we are putting from outside can displace the metals of the solution only if it is having higher reactivity than the metal present inside the solution. So from the reactivity series we can see which one is the metal having the higher reactivity and which is having lower reactivity. So in case of copper sulfate and zinc can displace, because zinc is having more reactivity than copper. So zinc will displace the copper and it will take the position of copper and in the solution, and the copper will be displaced. It will be kicked out. So we will find copper in form of granules now. Now the solution color will change. Next one is iron. We will put iron in copper sulfate solution. Iron also displaces copper sulfate, copper from the copper sulfate solution, because iron is more reactive than copper. Then in case of zinc sulfate solution and copper, there will be no reaction. In case of iron sulfate and copper, there will be no reaction. In case of zinc sulfate and iron, there will be no reaction. Why it is so? Because copper is less reactive than zinc, it cannot displace zinc. Copper is less reactive than iron, it cannot displace iron, and iron is less reactive than zinc, so it will not displace the zinc of zinc sulfate solution. Understood? Metals have lot of uses in our daily life. Like shiny metals like copper, silver, gold, we are using that for decorative arts and jewelries, coin, etc. There are some metals which are very strong like iron and other aluminium. They can be used for making structures, ships, building tools. They are combined with other elements to form the alloy, and that is also used for making machineries and other things. Tungsten is a light metal, it will not break when heated, so we are using it for making electrical bulbs. Then the metal like mercury, which is liquid at room temperature, is used in thermometer. Copper is used for making electrical wires. We know that silver is more conductivity, has more conductivity than copper, but it is copper is cheaper than silver, so we are using copper for electrical wiring. And like this, these are the uses. Now some uses of non-metals. Sulfur is used for making sulfuric acid. Oxygen is used for respiration in all the living beings. Nitrogen is used for making ammonia, used in fertilizers. Hydrogen for making ammonia used in fertilizers. Then hydrogen is also used as fuel in rockets and used for welding. Chlorine is used for killing germs, and iodine is used as antiseptic, as you all know. So this is the end of the chapter. Thank you, dear students.